Hi guys, welcome to Mentor Hub. So today I will be showing you this will be the beginning of series of videos on how to get started with Python, particularly for those in data engineering tracks. This will be extremely essential. So today we're going to go over, these are the outlines of what we're going to be doing in the next couple of days. The first thing is the introduction to Python for data engineering. We're basically focusing on installations and getting things set up and how different environments that would be required for you to run execute your code. And then we move into Python fundamentals where we talk about variables. What are, the key fundamentals that you should be aware of as you start your journey either in data engineering track or DevOps engineering or cloud engineering. And then we go over control flows, which is basically how do you make decisions in your programming? How do you iterate over a set of data? We're going to be practicing some of these scenarios. Also, data structures. How do you store data, right? Where should you store your data? And those kind of concepts that are extremely essential for the job, for the interviews, and even as you progress in this program. Then, of course, we move to reusable functions, how to write reusable code using functions. We're going to go over this concept. And then, obviously, we're going to go over object-oriented programming, which allows you to be able to model your systems into objects. And then a couple of other important concepts like file handling, be able to read CSV or process JSON file, process CSV data, generate the, things like that. Of course, serialization and deserialization. This is a very important concept. This process, we're going to go over this concept and some other data engineering scope. So today we're going to go over what's introduction into Python. So this section focuses on understanding what we need to install, understanding why we're using Python, why the choice of Python. Basically, Python is one of the most popular language for data engineering and for that data engineering process because Python itself is very fast to learn. I mean, getting started with Python is pretty easy and you could easily quickly get things started. Also, Python is more favorite among the data engineering, space for data manipulations and also building toolings and automations. And so key thing here for you is to understand what we're going to do with Python. This course is created to focus on what are the things that you need in terms of data structures, in terms of how we intend to build data systems using Spark or using streaming or batch and things like that. Okay, let's go to the course of today. Today, we're going to focus more on getting you started with Python, and that involves setup, installations, the things that are required to get started. The process is fairly broken down here. If you want to go into this, the first step is to first ensure that we have Python installed in our systems, right? I provided a link here that you could just go into and download Python. And we want to click on that link. You could just practically just download Python and do the installations pretty much straightforward. But if you're on a Mac, you can also launch your terminal, which uh, allows you to be able to do some basic operations. So let's say you're already on the Mac, you can launch your terminal, which I already launched. You could just type in brew, install Python, which I already have installed. This will just install Python for you and making sure that Python is available for you in your system. So right now, uh, Python is installed. I could just do Python 3 version. It should tell me the version of Python that I have installed. Okay, so right now I have version 3.13.0. Next thing is to set up, once you have Python installed and you're able to confirm that you have Python installed, next thing is to set up what we call virtual environment. Now, virtual environment allows you to be able to allow you to manage dependencies for different projects. And this allows you to isolate these packages that you want to install for project one or project two. This is just best practices. The approach is simple. You want to create a virtual environment, um, and then this virtual environment allows you to be able to have all the softwares or packages that is required for each project to be installed within more like a controlled environment. From what it sounds like, it's a virtual environment. So I'm going to bring up my IDE, which is an environment that I'm going to be writing code. Or so I have PyCharm here, which I also have the steps to install this environment down right here. Just install PyCharm, which is just a development tool to write your code. I already have it installed. The process is fairly straightforward. Just go to this website, download the complete edition, install the applications, and that's it. And this is good race to go. Once you have PyCharm installed, you want to go into um, Terminal right here. Where's Terminal? So I have it also open. This is Terminal right here for you. Um, so if I close all of this right now, and I have my terminal open right now, you can see I want to create a virtual environment. So right now we're trying to create a virtual environment. I already explained that virtual environment allows you to isolate your development environment for Python development. It's very, very crucial. But the step is pretty straightforward because I have Python installed. So I have Python 3 installed. So you want to type in Python 3 -m, which means for virtual environment. VMV, the name of the virtual environment. So I'm going to call this virtual environment mentor up. Okay. So this is going to create a virtual environment. Now I need to activate the virtual environment. To activate on the Mac, this is steps I'm describing right now is for the Mac system. So Windows, the process is also documented in the guide. So source, what's the name of the virtual environment we just created is mentor up being activate. So this will activate the mentor of virtual environments. Now, this allows us to now install all the packages, software that we need for this particular project within these virtual environments, okay? And that step is pretty much documented right there. The next thing is, let's say you don't want to you want to simplify the development process, you want to use other public tools like Google Colabs, even Jupyter Notebooks. Google already provides you a platform to write your code in Python or for data analysis or whatever data engineering that you're doing. So I'm going to go to this very link. If I click on this link, that's going to open up this Google Colabs and write this environment. I can start writing Python code also. Okay, pretty much straightforward approach. Once I come here, click on new, create a new notebook. This allows you to start doing your Python programming right away. It's all provided by you. You don't need to do anything. I can just say print, and I want to print welcome to mentor up. This is a Python code. If I execute this, once I execute that, that should, assure you that you're already getting started with, with Python. See, that's a type Python programming, and so printed here. Okay. So that means you could choose whatever environment you really want to start with. You could start with Google Colabs. You could start with installing PyCharm. Pretty much their end goal is the same for whatever you're trying to achieve. The next thing is to, we can pretty much, once you have all of this development environment installed, you could, do some printing like I already did here. Welcome to Mentor Hub. For now, we're going to stick to Google's Colabs or Jupyter Notebooks to simplify the development. As we build end-to-end code, we move back to PyCharm. But for now, let's stick to this Google Colabs. So let's say we want to just, I already kind of show you how to do some print, like hello, welcome to Mentor Hub, and things like that. We'll go over some other things mentioned here pretty much later. Running tests in terminal, they all approaches whatever you can do. Let's say you have within this place, you have let's say we create a file called hello.py. This is a Python code. Everything that has to do with Python code starts with .py, okay? So let's say we want to just print welcome to Python, okay? I can just run this by right-clicking, click run. This should print welcome. to Python. The same thing you do in Google Colab that we did in Google Colab, we can also do within this IDE environment. And pretty much that's what you need to do. Okay, now there's one more development environment that it's kind of crucial in the data engineering space, and that's called Jupyter Notebooks. Jupyter Notebooks allows you to also do the similar thing that we were doing in Google Colabs, which we allows us to write Python code, do some data analysis, and so on and so forth. To get started with this, you need to install Jupyter Notebook. Okay, to do that installation, we need to open Terminal again. So I'm looking for Terminal right here. Not sure where it's eating. Okay, right here. So once I have, ensure, can you see? I hope you can see that my virtual environment is still activated. So the next thing is to do pip, which is just a way to install packages in Python for virtual environment. Okay, pip install. What do you want to install? I want to install Jupyter. Okay, we installed this. I already have it installed, but it's no harm rerun that. This will install Jupyter Notebook. And once that step is completed, we will have Jupyter Notebook launched. Get started. Okay, I will complete in like a minute. And then once that is completed, now that installation is completed, the next step is to now launch Jupyter Notebook. Okay, so this will get Jupyter Notebook started. And then you have something that looks like Google's Collapse, just exactly the same interface, but of course, this is now controlled by you, not Google. That should get started. Hopefully, there's no issue with our installation. So we have Google Colab started. Let's give it a minute and see where that leads us to. What happened there? Let me refresh and see. Error. Explain some error. Okay. I'm not sure on that. Okay. Yeah, so this completes all the required setups that you need to do to get started with Python. What have we done so far? We've installed Jupyter Notebooks. We've installed virtual environment, which allows you to isolate your development environment and kind of help you to manage your dependencies per project. We've also shown you how to get started with Terminal and also run your test or your code in PyCharm or Google Colabs or Jupyter Notebooks. You could choose whichever you're comfortable with to get started with. It's almost practically the same thing. I would recommend you get started with Google Colabs because it's stable and you don't have to worry about getting anything started. So I would say get this started to do the initial practice. And so we'll meet in the next session where we'll cover Python fundamentals. Thank you. See you next time.